Before we get started, remember this is just an opinion piece and is not meant to reflect the viewer or anybody else's opinion other than the channel owners themselves. If you would like to comment on the topic, do so below in the comment section. Just remain respectful. Thank you.
Welcome everybody to X's Toy Universe. My name is X, and today we received, well, not received, but we saw via Instagram, Evan Brooks posted a bunch of photos of Ultra Magnus Commander class from Studio Series 86. Now, the thing about Ultra Magnus is I've already created a video about him, basically questioning whether he is a good fit for Commander class, considering he doesn't have a cab and technically he's hollow everywhere. I mean, he's a hollow cab and it's basically a wireframe car carrier made out of pillars, essentially. In comparison to Armada Optimus Prime and Motormaster, I kind of find that lacking, considering the last two Ultra Magnus figures we were able to actually get actual cab robot and a trailer that would turn into something for the cab robot to use. And the last two Ultra Magnuses had 4 modes, but for some reason we end up with just 2. But that's neither here nor there at this point. I wanted to talk about a couple of other different things. The pictures that we were shown basically highlight how the new Ultra Magnus works. And a lot of people have been saying that part of the Commander class budget went to the gimmick of removing the limbs. I don't know if that's a thing that we really needed, but okay, let's talk about that. As we can see here, he's basically sporting some pressure joints, largely similar to how Combiner Wars did it for their combiners. So that's pretty interesting. And it does look like his chest can separate from the rest of the body. But the thing is, I wouldn't necessarily consider that like a large bump to push the figure to the point where it's Commander class. Now, a lot of people are saying that this seems over-engineered. I don't necessarily agree. It's basically the same usual stuff when it comes to panels folding here and there to basically make the trailer turn into the armor. So that's not something that is necessarily new. A lot of it basically echoes how the Masterpiece did it. Interestingly, you'll notice that the midsection of the car carrier showing a joint that has a panel that kind of flips up, very similarly to how the Masterpiece does it as well. Now, something to note that a lot of people have pointed out, the folding of the said panels in order to make Magnus's armor parts is essentially kind of causing a lot of real estate to kind of show up on the area between his torso and his arms, which is basically the armpit area. So that's kind of creating this wide breadth in comparison to how he would usually look in the animation model. So yeah, that's something to consider. I mean, I've made a comparison here and showed you guys on my shorts that he is a lot wider than Kingdom and definitely wider than the New Age in terms of proportions, which is interesting because honestly, it doesn't have to go that way, especially considering the fact that he doesn't have a core robot. So, you know, it's pretty interesting why they felt the need to make him a wider butt this time around. Personally, I'm not complaining. You know, his vibe is very MP. Although I've yet to make a comparison between Masterpiece proportions and the one for Studio Series. You can see how similar they are to each other, but I believe that yes, the Studio Series one is still larger on that breadth between his arms, upper arms, and his chest. So yeah, another interesting bit here is that his chest opens up to reveal the matrix of leadership as well. So that whole section, as we can see in the previous photo where he's been dismembered, that whole section, that whole vest can come off essentially, and it can store the matrix. No, it is not spring-loaded. I know we saw that hardback. It's a little funny. Oh, it seems like he's launching out the Matrix. It doesn't seem like it's gonna do that. It's just gonna hold the Matrix in place. It's basically just showing you can put the Matrix that way. With regard to scale, as you can see here, he is bigger than Studio Series Grimlock, as was stated in the panel with Evan. Definitely true. And if we compare it here, we can see that he's basically around the size of Combiner Wars Ultra Magnus. But the thing is, if you do pull up the official scale chart, if you care about these things, he will show up as bigger than he's supposed to be, because Grimlock is intended to be bigger than Ultra Magnus. So if that's the scale that you care for, then definitely go for Kingdom Ultra Magnus instead, because, you know, he's around that size. But of course, the aesthetic won't be the same, because, you know, this is technically the perfect aesthetic in terms of the design for Ultra Magnus, except for a couple of things. So a couple of things I want to point out is that, yes, he is bulkier than the original show model, and he also has like really, really transparent red windows on his chest. Now the thing is, I can pull up a couple of screenshots from the animation that kind of show you that there are intended to be red windshields there. It's just that they are clearer on this particular version. So I wouldn't necessarily call it 100% out of the realm of possibility that he would look like this. But there's also those white hinges there. So I wish those weren't there in particular, but there they are. That's fine. It's not super Studio Series accurate, but, you know, for as much as they keep saying that this is, you know, in the vein of Studio Series, guys, I can point out so many things that are not accurate to the Transformers 1986 movie. And the hinges, the windows are part of them, the breadth of the shoulders, the height, and, you know, just stuff that exists outside of the Studio Series 86 branding as well, such as, like, in this most recent wave of announcements, Noah Diaz and his drone attack mode, as well as, for some reason, AirRaiser having a bot mode. So none of those show up in their respective movies. So we can't keep claiming that Studio Series is 100% 1:1 to the source material, but I will give it to the design team for managing to capture some key moments in the way that this transformation works. Evan was able to show us in his Instagram post how the toy would compare in terms of the storyboarding of the transformation, and it's pretty impressive. That's fun. How many times are we going to try to pose him in these exact same shots? How many times are we going to try to rip off his limbs and whatnot? Those are fun things to do, don't get me wrong. And I'm glad that he did them, and the design is awesome. The thought behind it is awesome. I'm just saying those are not things that would justify a Commander class price. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that this is an awful figure. I'm getting it. It's pretty great. I like it. I like the design. I like the colors. I don't think it's 100% 1:1 to the Transformers movie, but I'm still getting it. For those who are kind of thinking, oh, X, you're just really bitter about it not having a core bot. Yes, only because it's somewhere between leader and commander class, because we've had leader and commander class before with an additional core bot. I'm looking for where that plastic went. If you say engineering again, I'm going to tell you guys that that's not 100% the case, because we've seen complex engineering and heft of plastic in terms of Motor Master and even Rodimus Prime, TBH, and Armada Optimus. So all of those are trucks with really, really serviceable core bot modes that are hefty in their own right. Rodimus, Motor Master, Optimus Prime, not even counting their boxes, their trailers, they're all pretty hefty. But the thing is, Ultra Magnus's core is missing. It's basically a hollow box, and it's a wireframe trailer. Not that I'm saying it's not supposed to be a wireframe trailer. It's absolutely supposed to be that. But don't tell me that that's what commands the Commander class price point. The fact that it works as a car carrier. It's supposed to be. It's supposed to be hollow. That's not, you know, a feature that needs to be demanding that high of a price. I'm just saying, guys, that yes, this is an awesome figure. No, it's not probably worth a Commander class. You know, to be honest, until I get the figure in hand, I could 100% be wrong, and I will tell you once I get it in hand. But from what we've seen so far, great figure, just questionable pricing. Though in terms of aesthetic, I am definitely looking forward to making this my other main core Magnus, because the other one is the Combiner Wars one. I have two teams of Team Ultra Magnus, and I am definitely excited to see this alongside the other bots. You know, I really love that blue, and I really love that stark white. I really hope it doesn't yellow either. Not too quick. Of course, it will yellow at some point in the next few years, but you know, if it's just a couple of months. Although Hasbro seems to have fixed that problem, I'm just, of course, still wary. For the people telling me that the blast effects and the guns make up for the Commander class price point, literally stop. Come on, guys. No. Those are freebies. Anyway, so yeah, we're all excited for this figure regardless of the price point. Let's just say that. But yes, the people who love 4-mode Ultra Magnus are still gonna hold out hope for an Ultra Magnus down the line. Of course, the fact that we've gotten 3 Ultra Magnuses so close to each other kind of leads me to think that it's going to be a long time before we get an Ultra Magnus like that in the future. We're probably going to get like other versions of Ultra Magnus from other universes before we get that. And that's a little sad, but okay. That's fine. I can't really tell from the pictures if we're going to be able to, because these pictures aren't really showing much in terms of the alt mode. I can't tell from the pictures if we're going to be able to take out the cab mode of Ultra Magnus and replace him with an upgrade kit of some sort, like Perfect Effect for the Combiner Wars version. That would be interesting though, if we could do that. I would absolutely love to have something like that. Although it does look like it's going to be kind of the same as the Combiner Wars Ultra Magnus, in that whatever Optimus Prime clone you're going to be putting here will essentially end up looking like a backpack instead of an actual core bot. Anyway, so yeah, thank you guys for listening to me talk about Ultra Magnus here. Let me know your thoughts. I mean, these are my thoughts, okay? I know these are not objective. These are absolutely subjective and are absolutely my thoughts. You are obviously free to tell me what your thoughts are, and I do want you to tell me what they are down below. So let me know what you think, guys, and till next time, this has been X. Follow me at X_Paco on Twitter and Instagram, and you can also like and subscribe this channel and hit the bell button if you want to hear me talk more about Ultra Magnus and Transformers and other toys. Till next time, peace out.